Good evening, folks. It's time for more Justice trilogy, Spirit of Justice. Last time, I ended up in a pretty terrible cliffhanger, which unfortunately I'm probably not going to be able to replay. Yeah, that seance definitely did not seem great for us. But we'll see how the cross-examination goes. What in the... Oh. Huh. Faceless being. What the heck? His face, it's just like... Oh, that's weird. I think that's the last thing anyone expected us. Huh. Yeah, I hadn't... I had just assumed that was like... I'm not sure what that means. Father, what was it? What was it you saw? Are we to understand that this was the last thing the victim saw? Yes, there can be no mistake. That was what my father himself witnessed. How very strange. You don't suppose the Holy Mother possessed the accused and slew Minister Inga for planning a coup? The divine wrath of the Holy Mother? Talk about a sharp left turn into the Twilight Zone. You know, there's one thing in there that caught my attention. Laugh. Who does it belong to, and why are they laughing? Who knows, though I suppose it could be Dirk after he slew my husband. That figure didn't even have a mouth. Oh, I think we're done here, lawyer. How so? You claimed that Minister Inga was stabbed in his private quarters, and, feeling no pain, went to the tomb where he eventually fell dead. But this seance vision proves he was stabbed in the tomb and felt great pain, no less. Oh, bad. Therefore, as I asserted all along, it was the accused who stabbed the minister in the tomb. Everything just backfired big time. Wow, Garan has the devil's own luck, doesn't she? Now then, I shall give voice to the soul of the deceased. Listen well and heed these words. Around 3 p.m., my father was waiting in the tomb to make the hostage exchange. He was drinking grape juice while gazing upon the picture of the Holy Mother. He had been waiting vigilantly, and suddenly he heard Dirk's voice. The next moment, he was stabbed in the back and collapsed. My father tried to shoot his attacker, but he missed, and the attacker let out a laugh. So what now, Mr. Wright? It's up to us to knock holes in Rafa's interpretations of Inga's memories. In other words, we need to prove that her understanding of them could be mistaken. Okay, I'll give it a try. Alright, so grapes, sure, sour, okay, probably. Probably his footsteps. A man's voice. More footsteps. explosion. Laughter. What the heck? Okay. 3 p.m. While I was waiting in the tomb to make the exchange. That seems... Grape juice, sure. Waiting vigilantly when suddenly he heard Dirk's voice. Next moment he was stabbed in the back and collapsed. Father tried to shoot his attacker, but he missed. The attacker let out a laugh. Tempted to pick this one, just to be like, well, actually, it was probably wine and not grape juice.
Objection!
That was probably too trivial. Yeah. And it doesn't look like we'll get something funny out of it. I thought maybe they'd be like, really? Okay, fine, it was wine, it wasn't grape juice. The explosion?
Objection!
Or is that the gunshot? That's the gunshot, okay.
Objection!
Something's weird about this. Inconsistency in your interpretation. Inconsistency where? Mr. Inga is far too relaxed for what was supposedly about to take place. Yeah, he doesn't like... I hear the voice you claim is Dirk's. Yeah, he didn't seem the least bit alarmed. He just kept looking at the picture of the founder. You'd think, like, you know, the guy that he was supposed to meet, he would, like, I don't know, do something about that, especially if he was close. Yeah, if he was waiting for the Dirk to arrive with the Founder's Orb, but when he heard that voice, he didn't even turn to look. Don't you think he would have been worried about being attacked from behind? And whose voice was it? It was likely someone whose presence wouldn't have alarmed him. Someone like a friend.
Objection!
There was no third party at the scene of the crime, therefore the voice can only have belonged to Dirk. The voice of a third party who wasn't there in the tomb. Although, don't we have something that could reveal the owner of the mystery voice? You know, I think we do. Something that Inga had while he was waiting for Dirk. With it, we just might be able to figure out whose voice it was. Oh,
Take that!
that's his... yeah. I know this must be hard for you, but could you please look at this photo? There's something here that can point us toward the identity of the voice. Yeah, it's the phone. So he was making a call to someone, or receiving a call from someone.
Take that!
A cell phone. Right, I believe the voice the minister heard was a call on the cell phone. See, well, that certainly makes sense. What is your eminence's view on the matter? Concede the possibility. Then it seems I must refine my vision. Subordinate's voice. Appears that the voice belonged to one of my father's subordinates. Why do you suppose he was talking to one of them then? My father had members of the secret police positioned throughout the palace, who were supposed to contact him as soon as they saw Dirk and the rest of you. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Your benevolence, I believe you have an insight to revise. I know, Barbhead. Don't presume to tell me how to do my duty. The voice was coming from the phone. That's good to know. There might have been other sounds coming from the phone, sounds that could be clues. Let's take another look at Rafa's insights and really focus on the various sensations. Okay, so another sound. So we're looking for a sound, which none of these are. These footsteps make sense. Hello. Let's make sure there aren't any additional sounds at the end here. Okay.
Objection!
To break it to you, Your Benevolence, she misinterpreted something again. What do you mean? Again? Smooth move, Apollo. I think you just hurt her feelings. She may put on a brave face, but she feels more than she lets on. Let me rephrase that, Your Benevolence. Your interpretation of your father's phone call to a subordinate at the palace is inconsistent with his final memory. What do you mean by that? Lion's roar could be heard over the phone. Would you find that strange? You claim the call was with someone at the palace. But let me ask you, do you keep lions there? No, the only animals at the palace are little birdies and my pet frog. Wait, that giant one in front of the minister's house is her pet? Besides, there aren't any lions in Khura'In. We don't even have any zoos. A rather sad state of affairs, I'm afraid. Well, I remember hearing a sound like that. Lion's roar coming from the phone is actually from something hanging out in... Oh, bizarre. Did the cry of the warbot over in the bazaar? Ah. Benevolence, do you think you can clarify the voice for me? Very well. I will now attempt to further refine my vision. What's this? Just as I suspected, it was the call of a warbod. That means the subordinate Minister Inga was talking to was in the bazaar, not the palace. But why is it important where the call came from? What significance could it have? She's right. Is it important to know where the call was made from? It is very important, because there's another I think that dog noise is going to be a factor in this. The person on the other end of the bazaar means that the loud explosion might not have been the sound of a gunshot. Right. Because wasn't there another explosion? Yeah. That didn't make such a noise in the area. Mm-hmm. It's the firecrackers. Wait for the real source of that sound. Well, Hornhead, I'm waiting. What was the true source of that explosive sound? This. Right, 2 p.m. Oh, but this is at 2 p.m. So he actually died like an hour ago. So I'll be our guide's statement, and that he claims that Dot's a rebel, so threw a firecracker at him while he was at the bazaar. Then, yes, the sound heard over the phone was a firecracker exploding.
Objection!
And yet, a bullet was found at the scene of the crime. A bullet fired from Minister Inga's gun. How do you explain that? Well, we don't know whether it was fired during the course of the crime, right? Or do you have evidence that proves when the pistol was discharged? No, I have none. Wait a second. If that loud bang was a firecracker, then could that laugh at the end have been... No, it can't be. Oh, it can, and it is. The laugh came from none other than... the Joker who got a kick out of startling Albie with his dragon snot snaps. That happy-go-lucky Dat's a rebel. Yeah, but the bigger problem is that this means this now happened at 2 p.m. Someone really pushes, which throws the time way off. I shudder to think how one man can be the cause of so much trouble. Of course. Hey there, HAPW, you'll thank me later. No one asked for your commentary, Mr. Rebel. Your benevolence, do you need to revise your insight? It would appear so. Well, this changes everything. Let's go over the details of Rafa's insight again. I think I've got this down now. Time to find another inconsistency. Well, I know that the big one, but I don't know how to...
Objection!
Okay, maybe not. My thinking was, well, he can't have been there because this happened at 2 p.m. and he wasn't there yet, but apparently that's not it. Maybe this one because it's at 3 p.m.
Objection!
Nope. I'm not sure what they're looking for on this one. I'll take a hint. There's nothing here. Looks like you could use a sounding board. So how's this? We now know that the loud explosion was a firecracker that Dad threw. The very fact may have produced an inconsistency somewhere. You're right. I'm going to take another look at Rafa's insights. Bizarre manhole, yelled at by a dog and a warbot, and then threw a firecracker. Shock on Alby's face and dents and stitches when the police came along in to take the rebel. The noise spooked Shadow, who ran off. Alby caught up to the corner. I guess it's gotta be the laugh then?
Objection!
Nope, that's not it. Well, defenders of all of justice in Phoenix. Right, this court finds these three individuals. What could be missing? What am I missing here? so if it's not the final laugh, it's not the firecracker. Maybe it's the dog?
Objection!
Nope. What does Phoenix say again? You now know that the loud explosion was a firecracker. Right, that part we definitely know. In fact, we produced an inconsistency somewhere. I know there's a problem, I just don't know how to present it.
Objection!
Oh, well, it did not mean to do that. Wasn't doing that. He was looking at the desk. I get the feeling that kind of inconsistency is too trivial to point out.
Objection!
Didn't get... his phone never rang. So, when he had the footstep sounds, he should have been hearing a phone ring to take the call. Nope.
Objection!
I still feel like that's gotta be it. I don't know why that isn't it. It's like, he can't have been there at 3. Okay, it has to be something to do with the phone call. I guess I'm like getting ahead of what's going on.
Objection!
I'm just guessing at things now.
Objection!
Now I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna pick things that,
Objection! Objection! Objection!
nope. Oh, man.
Objection!
You might say I'm having sour grapes over this section. Excuse me.
Objection!
Thought maybe we didn't hear the subordinate's voice yet because there was nothing like that in the report.
Objection!
Thought maybe the footsteps might have also been part of the call. Man, I don't know. Even the hint doesn't seem that helpful. The loud explosion was a firecracker that Dad started. The very fact may have produced an inconsistency somewhere.
Objection!
Nope. What is the problem here? I present this? This is what I want to present. Ugh.
Objection! Objection! Objection!
I feel like it's gotta be one of these. Just the 3 p.m. thing is the thing that's the problem now. If it wasn't those two, then... this one?
Objection!
Okay, that's the one they wanted. There's a glaring problem with this insight. There is? You stated the murder happened at around 3 p.m., which is right around the time my client arrived on the scene. However, now that we know what the source of the loud bang is, your insight conflicts with a certain piece of... yeah. The obvious here, what's the... yeah, it's literally the thing we just looked at. Because...
Take that!
this happened at 2 p.m., not 3. Summarize what he said. Around 2 p.m., Shadow was surprised by a firecracker and ran to the palace courtyard. Right, so it's an hour off. Are you suggesting? I think you know where I'm going with this. That's his laugh, the cry of the warbod, and the bang of the firecracker were all heard right before Mr. Inger's death. Thanks to Albie's statement, we can put a definitive timestamp on all of these sounds. Therefore, what this vision shows is that it's extremely likely that the deceased's final moments were at 2 rather than 3 as we had originally thought. Dare I ask? It means the murder took place a full hour before Dirk entered the tomb. How can this be? Are you saying that I, the very personification of the law, have been mistaken? Looks at her nails. You see why justice will always prevail. That one was a little ridiculous because there was definitely a number of things that could have worked for it. It was just trying to get the right one. In the defense, I must remind you the figure of the accused was clearly shown in the vision. How do you explain that? I wouldn't say it was clearly shown. After all, the figure didn't actually have a face. Ah, you are absolutely right. Without a face, we can't be certain who it was. Furthermore, need I remind you that if the vision is from 2 p.m., Dirk was still with me and Mr. Wright, which means this faceless figure couldn't possibly be him. So then what are we to make of this 1 hour difference? Wait, 2 o'clock? That's when my mother was performing the brightest channeling. The palace guards had all been reassigned to guard the channeling chamber for the rite. Don't tell me. Royal residence, it would have been virtually unguarded. Which means the real killer could have easily slipped unseen into Amara's tomb. Defense, are you saying this is someone disguised as the accused? That's exactly what I believe, Your Majesty.
Objection.
Preposterous. Disguises cannot deceive the memories of the dead. The face did not appear this time as mere happenstance. Had it appeared, such subterfuge would have been clear as day. He's got a point there. Anyone who knows about the divination seance would have tried to hide their face. Nevertheless, our killer openly appeared before Inga. The question is, why? Apollo. Maybe the killer could afford to be so bold, because they knew their face wouldn't show up in the seance vision. What? It's possible that the killer dared to dress in Dirk's clothes and stand square in front of Inga, precisely because they knew they could get away with it. How can anyone be so sure of something like that? A long time ago, I heard of a cognitive disorder. It compares a... No! Well, now, this is something I haven't heard of in a long time. A person's ability to distinguish between different faces. You know, I'll be honest, the first time I heard about this in a video game, I thought it wasn't real. But, now that it's come up 2 times now, with Inga had prosopagnosia, can't normally see through the eyes of others, but in this case, I thought... I see, this is a thing that came up in 999, though, but I didn't think it was a matter of, like... Their faces literally looked blank. It was more like... their faces were indistinguishable. But I guess then... how does that... I mean... I guess my thinking was it would just be everyone has just kind of a generic looking face, and you no matter how much you look at them, they all look this, like, the details never, like, materialize or something. We can't normally see through the eyes of others, but in this case we can't. I guess this is how it manifests? If he had that disorder, I imagine this is how faces appear to him in life. Okay, let's say the killer knew that Inga had such a disorder. They could definitely use it to pin the crime on Dirk. But if you're wondering about how to prove that Inga had it, you already have what you need. Really? Oh, so that's what that other thing was. Okay. I was wondering what that was about. I get what Mr. Wright means, but I'll look at the evidence over again. It explains why the face of Minister Inga's killer is absent in his seance vision. Okay, so it's going to be this thing.
Take that!
A notepad? Yes, it was found in Minister Inga's room. It holds the answer we're looking for. As you can see, it's filled with detailed notes on various individuals. What kind of clothes they wear, hairstyles, and other discerning physical characteristics. And this is connected to the faceless nature of the killer how? The vision we saw was exactly what Minister Inga saw with his own eyes. It was he who saw this killer as a person without a face. In fact, this is how he normally saw everyone around him. What's this? I believe Minister Inga had a disorder that prevented him from recognizing faces. Would explain the faithless being, and why he needed a notepad full of people's physical characteristics. Now that I think about it, my father was always terrible at remembering people. By simply changing my hairstyle, he would fail to recognize even me. Your Eminence, you knew that your husband had such a disorder, didn't you? He never wished for it to become public knowledge. But I suppose there's no use in keeping quiet about it now. It is as you say. My late husband had a special disorder that hindered his ability to recognize faces. The medical term for it is prosopagnosia, yeah. I'm not going to say anything more about this because I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't played the other game where this comes up, but... Oh boy. So Mr. Bright was right. The memories of those afflicted with such disorders in life do appear strange at times. There's precedent for this. The killer likely knew about the disorder and used it to their advantage. Right, so there's someone who is both knowledgeable about the divination seance and aware of Inga's affliction. Your Eminence, who knew about your husband's condition? A small number of servants who tended to his needs, and me. Surely you are not about to insinuate that I committed this crime. Oh no, Your Eminence. Still, could she have done it? Quran has an alibi, remember? Oh, right. She was conducting the rite of channeling at 2 p.m. In that case, Your Eminence, does Nana know about Minister Inga's disorder? Of course she does. She's our head servant. So as head servant, she knew about Minister Inga's condition, and as the princess's personal attendant, she is familiar with the divination seance. These two facts together don't make her a possible subject. I don't suspect. I don't know what would.
Objection!
Also, she's been missing for like the past day. How do you explain this? You witless lawyer, how quick you are to forget the facts. Facts like when Inga was last seen alive. You claim he was slain at 2, yet that is impossible. Rafa saw him at 2:30. You did completely... Oh, that's true. There must be some mistake. So you see, the murder could only have happened at 3 p.m. The hour Dirk entered the tomb. There's no other answer to this puzzle. We ever get to make up answers like Garan makes up laws? This is back to square one. Where did we go wrong? I don't think we're the problem. We just seem to be short one piece of the puzzle. Our deductions so far explain everything to a T. Everything except for Inga's sighting at 2:30. And without that final puzzle piece, all of our deductions fall apart. Apollo, if Inga's sighting is the only anomaly, we just have to find a way to make it fit into the bigger picture. Gotta think outside the box then, right? Let's see. It would be impossible to see Inga walking around after he'd been killed. Unless... Unless he was summoned. Way to make people think he was alive even though he was dead. Way to make people witness the living dead, yeah. Things like that don't happen. Apollo. I mean, to be fair, Apollo hasn't really ever had a chance to see this. But he should at least be aware of it. I did. Figured it out. I know how to make people witness the living... Yeah, it's spirit channeling. Magistry, our deductions weren't wrong after all. Despite Minister Inga being murdered at 2, he was seen heading into the tomb at 2:30, and I'll tell you how. I certainly hope you will, because I have no idea what you're talking about. The Minister Inga her benevolence saw was in fact someone channeling him. He just ceased being channeled. It's the only way a man who was already dead could have been seen by her benevolence. Channeled, you say? That's right. And there are only 2 people capable of spirit channeling here in Khura'in. Her Eminence Queen Garan and Maya Fey. It's possible that one of them was channeling the minister. It would seem that you were ever bent on making me party to this crime. Prosecutor, what was I doing at 2:30 p.m., the time at which my husband was seen? Eminence. I believe you had completed the channeling rite and were having tea with the king of the neighboring realm. There would have been many attendants there, too. Ayuja has to keep up with her schedule, too. What doesn't she make him do? And that leaves only Maya. Yeah, it does. Maybe someone was forcing her to use her power toward nefarious ends. The real killer could have been threatening her. That cannot be. So then Inga's scream is probably from when he woke up from being called back to this world. After all, that's when the flow of time would have picked back up for him after he died. Oh, yeah. So Mr. Inga probably leapt to his feet, thinking he just had a nightmare, then realized it was almost time for the hostage exchange. He raced off to Amara's tomb, not even realizing he was already dead. Then, her benevolence really did see a dead man running. Using the sacred power of spirit channeling to commit a crime? How can this be? The defense calls Miss Maya Fey to the stand. Well, Your Eminence, will you allow a new witness? Matters not. Either way, this lawyer shall soon know the truth. He will know just how much of an imbecile he is in the face of my infallible arguments. Tell me how you want, witch, but you'll be eating those words when I expose the truth. Very well, let us adjourn until the next witness is ready. Unfortunately, we haven't had the chance to talk to Maya up until this point. Because it seems like she's involved in this, but I don't know what would have happened. It was really close shaves. Well, you can't get a closer shave than Hedsman Brand's blades, that's for sure. The trial's not even over yet, and I'm already exhausted. Still, you were able to fight back the Queen herself in there. Well, maybe with Miss Fey's help, I won't have to keep on playing her game much longer. Speaking of which, I guess it's a little late to be asking, but do you think she's well enough to testify, Mr. Wright? She slept all day yesterday of exhaustion, apparently. That's all it was, so she should be okay. Barbed head, horn head. Oh, hello, Your Benevolence. Princess Rafa. You were really impressive in there.
I am the royal priestess Rafa Padma Khura'in. And I am prepared to face my father's death.
Despite your mother's opposition, you stood your ground. And in doing so, you fulfilled your duty as the royal priestess. It was all thanks to you and your friends. Your belief in me gave me the courage to follow my path. So, you have my gratitude. Oh, don't mention it. I know, I shall thank you with a gift. What would you like? A cow? A horse? Or perhaps I shall reward your efforts with a royal shoulder massage. That's okay, Your Benevolence. Your gratitude is more than enough, thanks. I thought you Americans liked massages. The technique was highly praised by my father, I'll have you know. Hey you, lawyers, where's the accused? Huh? Dirk? That's a good question. Blew it big time, AJ. Dads? Shut up, you. What's going on? The scoundrel tried to escape with the accused. What? You were able to nab him, but the accused is nowhere to be found. Where are you hiding him, you miscreant? I keep telling you, I got no idea where he went. I mean, yeah, we booked it together. but I lost track of him after that. So Dirk's on the lam now? Probably, but who knows? He vanished in the blink of an eye. But Maya could... Okay, at first I was like, well, is Maya channeling him? But that couldn't be the case, because she's been passed out in the hospital. You wanna know something, AJ? Dirk said to me, I can't put Amara in danger. Is she here? I have to set her free before it's too late. Don't tell me he's gone to rescue her. That's what I am telling you. It's why I helped him escape in the first place. Yes, you realize what you've done. Well, what's done is done. Still, why do you choose to go rescue her now? Maybe you didn't want to die with any regrets or something. You know, just in case he ended up on the chopping block. Why, Dirk? I thought you believed in me. Oh, don't feel like that, AJ. He'll be back as soon as he frees Amara. You'll see. It's not the point, Dads. Listen, lawyer, you let us know immediately if the accused contacts you. The trial will now resume. See that you are ready. Wait, the trial's still on, even without the defendant? Those were Her Eminence's orders, so you will return to the courtroom at once. Let's go, Apollo. All we can do is see where the next testimony leads. So if Amara is somewhere around here, and she's also capable of channeling, then she would definitely be involved in this. It would probably explain a lot of the weird inconsistencies that have popped up in this case. But trying to pick out exactly how it all works is going to be a nightmare. I guess we'll talk to Maya first. Let's resume the trial at hand. Your Majesty, my client seems to have gone missing. I think, Your Eminence. Should we proceed without the accused? Why not? My royal guard is searching for him as we speak. They shall find him soon enough, for they would not dare to keep me waiting. Yes, but what about the law governing court proceedings? Then I shall simply revise it. As ruling sovereign Khura'in, I proclaim the following. Should the accused be an enemy of the crown, they may be tried in absentia. Oh, in that case, I guess there's no problem with proceeding. Will the witness, Miss Maya Fey, please approach the stand? Sorry to summon you like this, Maya. Getting dragged out of bed and into court is not exactly a fun wake-up call, Nick. I'm sorry, Miss Fey. It was my idea. And you are... Oh, right. Khura'Injustice. It's nice to finally meet you. Oh, so you're Apollo. Nick's told me all about you. You're the new guy with the loud voice and a bit of an unreliable streak, right? Unreliable? Well, that was 2 years ago. You've come a long way since. So why was I called here anyway? Am I under arrest again? Huh? I guess no one's filled her in. Well, she has been asleep this entire time. Miss Fey, this is a trial for Dirk Sadmati, and you're here as a witness. What? Dirk's been arrested? But... That's not exactly the reaction I was expecting. Miss Fey, you are suspected of playing a part in the murder of Justice Minister Inga. What? Someone allegedly forced you to channel the minister to obfuscate the time of his murder. At least, that is what the defense claims. Wait, what? How could you, Apollo? How did you even reach that conclusion? Sorry, but it's the only way this whole case makes any sense. For understandable anger at the defense's side, will you testify, Miss Fey? Yes, Your Majesty. I don't have any idea what's going on, but I know I didn't channel some Minister Inga. Even have the chance to do something like that. Besides, I never go quietly along with some criminal's plan. Though, I guess there are some things I'd go quietly along with. Seems the witness doesn't believe she's ever channeled Justice Minister Inga. And if her words prove to be true, defense, your entire argument becomes moot. You do understand that, don't you? Yes, of course. It doesn't seem like Miss Fey is lying. Apollo, Maya was being awfully secretive about something. Yeah, there was something she was being really vague about. Time to do some pressing.
Hold it!
You've been asleep ever since you were rescued from the tomb, correct? I was exhausted after being held captive for so long. It must have been terrible. Maya, Minister Inga didn't do anything to you, did he? Oh no, it wasn't like that. On the contrary, I asked him for all sorts of things. Like what? Like, I'm really craving burgers, and I'll die if I miss an episode of The Plume Punisher. Acting like a brat netted me a TV and even a few burgers from someplace. It was surprisingly nice to me. Huh? Are you sure we're talking about the same guy here? He may have loomed large, but he was unexpectedly easy to push around. Even though he's the one who was responsible for pushing those execution papers through? Oh, that? Approving execution was simply his preferred method of stress relief. With a wife like her, he was probably really pushing them through out of fear. Beginning to see why he wanted to stage a coup. In any case, my time in captivity wasn't so bad, but of all the things that happened... I know I didn't channel Minister Inga.
Hold it!
Are you sure about that? Maybe you just don't remember channeling him. Don't remember? You'd be 28, but I'm not senile, you know. Something's not right here. Miss Fey, you were confined to a Mars tomb the whole time, is that correct? Yes, but I wasn't conscious the whole time. Okay, then let me ask you something. Did you ever see Nena in the tomb, dressed as Dirk? Huh? Is this some kind of joke? I think I'd remember if I saw something as crazy as that. Plus, I doubt anyone would carry out a crime like that right in front of a potential witness. I hate when he's right. You have the chance to do something like that.
Hold it!
You didn't have a chance to channel him. Does channeling someone take a long time? Not really. Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty much instantaneous. But I was all tied up, literally. So there's no way for me to make the channeling draw with my hands to do it. Right. I guess she really didn't channel Inga then. Well, when mediums are done with a session, they can send the spirit back to the other world themselves, right? Sure, unless they're still in training. Amateurs can get possessed by spirits sometimes. But full-fledged mediums can stay in total control of the session, and they can send the deceased spirit away anytime they want. So I take it you can do that too, Miss Fey. Of course. It's a cinch for the new and improved Mystic Maya Fey, Ace Spirit Meaty. That's strange. You seem like the same old child. Oh, come on, Phoenix, give me some credit. Show you childish names. Poofs out her cheeks. Besides, I never been quietly along with something.
Hold it!
So you wouldn't channel spirits for unseemly purposes? Of course not. Spirit channeling is my bread and butter. I take a lot of pride in my work. It's like, would you use your legal skills to commit a crime, Apollo? Well, until finger-pointing and objecting become deadly, I don't see how they can be used. Wow, you're a regular Mr. Smarty Pants, just like Nick. Always at the ready with some sarcastic comeback. I'll save my many objections for after the trial. Yes, please. Anyway, I'd never go along with something like murder. Alright, let's find out what's up with this one. Sounds to me like you're trying to hide something, Miss Fey. Too many anyone teach you about respecting boundaries, Apollo? It's really rude to pry into a person's private affairs. Sorry, I didn't realize, Wait, we're in a court of law. Yeah, I know. And what was that all about me being rude? I'm just doing my job. So please, just tell me, what exactly are you hiding? Sorry, but I promised Dirk I wouldn't say. You made a promise to Dirk? Mm-hmm, a pretty big one. I think this is about all you're going to get out of her. Yeah. Enough. The witness is denying that she channeled any spirits. Further questioning is pointless. It appears your little fiction has been soundly exposed for what it is. You should listen to her, Apollo. I don't even know why you suspected me in the first place. I mean, you don't have any evidence of me channeling Minister Inga, do you? Oh, evidence, huh? There's no point in even thinking about it, really. I don't use anything special to channel spirits, so there wouldn't be anything left behind. That's true. Just like when she channeled the High Priest, all Maya needs is her own body. The defense has no evidence to offer. I will have to end this cross-examination. If she doesn't use any special items to do the channeling itself, you'd think there would be something to complete the deception. Is there any proof that Justice Minister Inga was channeled? I think there is. I bet there is. Really? Well now. You're bluffing, I take it. I'll be fine. If we're right, then there must be some sort of proof to back us up. Time to do some serious thinking, Apollo. Okay, we know that when Rafa saw her father, he wasn't dressed like Miss Faye, right? Right, because if he was, Rafa would have immediately known he was being channeled. So that means he was dressed in his usual suit when Rafa saw him. Ah, good thinking, Apollo. This might be the perfect angle to attack from. Alright, let's have an answer from the defense. Proof do you have that Miss Maya Fey channeled Justice Minister Inga? I feel like it's gotta be this one.
Take that!
Is that a gemstone? I found this among the ashes of one of the tomb's incense burners. Does the gemstone ring any bells, Your Eminence? What? What was that doing in the tomb? Ah, so you do recognize it, but then, as his wife, how could you not recognize this gemstone button from your husband's jacket? I don't get where you're going with this. Channeling Minister Inga alone wouldn't be enough to fool someone like Princess Rafa, especially if he were wearing your clothes. So you would have had to change into the minister's clothes before channeling him. Ah. Miss Faye, you used the minister's clothes as cover while going from his room to the tomb, where you burned them once you no longer needed them. What? Uh-oh. She seems genuinely surprised by that, Apollo.
Objection!
Miss Faye? Yes? Do you know my husband's name? Was, Inga Khura'In, right? That is correct, in part, but there's more. Much more. Inga Khura'In. Kind of cool how cold. How could this name be any longer Ormo pompous than it already is? Oh my god. What is his true name? Could it be any longer? In its length, only a portion of it was ever made public. So, Miss Faye, did you know his true name? No, I mean, how could I? Precisely. Yeah, the medium must know both the face and true name of the one she seeks to channel. So then, Miss Faye couldn't have channeled Minister Inga. That's what I've been saying this whole time. Why would I want to randomly channel some old guy I didn't know and didn't like thanks to that last trial? I can't believe this. Apollo, I really don't think Maya's lying. However, your line of reasoning still seems credible to me. I agree, but there's something tripping us up in the details. Maybe we're working off of some wrong assumption again. Apollo, I was thinking. Yes? Since I didn't channel Mr. Inga, is it possible that someone else did? Yeah, I think it is. Once again, she hasn't been in a game in like 11 years. She shows up and immediately starts figuring things out in these cases. Like, the number of times she figured things out in cases previously was kind of crazy. I haven't thought that far yet. Such chatter is without merit. Let us move on, shall we? I don't care what Garan says. I'm going to figure this out. If it wasn't Miss Faye and the Queen has an alibi, then... Although, forget about who is capable of channeling spirits for a second. I should consider the circumstances around the channeling, right? Right. We know Rafa saw her father come running out of his private quarters. If he was being channeled at the time, who could it have been? It had to have been someone who was in Inga's private quarters. Well, in waiting defense, you know how much I despise waiting. Yes, but there's someone else besides Miss Faye who could have channeled Mr. Inga. There's just one more person, and they were in Inga's private quarters. As pleased as there was another, let's have your very serious answer then. Pleasure. Horn Devil. Could have channeled Mr. Inga. Starting to get suspicious about who this person actually is.
Take that!
Huh? Eminence said it yourself. That's right, Nana never did go into the tomb that day. Instead, she entered my husband's private quarters. How do you know? It's quite simple. Shoe prints were discovered in Inga's private quarters, shoe prints that belonged to Nana. And then there's her benevolence's statement. She said that Nana disappeared right after she entered Minister Inga's private quarters. The room from which Minister Inga himself came running out of not long afterwards. We're not seriously suggesting. It's the only thing that makes sense. Nana channeled Minister Inga and left his private quarters thereafter. That's why no one has seen her since. And why only the minister's shoe prints were found outside his residence. No way. It's got to be it. Nana must have somehow channeled the minister. Yeah, because, I think she might actually turn out to be someone else that we know, or that we haven't met yet, but we know who they are. The circumstantial evidence has fallen into place. You can't ignore it anymore. You can't claim Nana isn't connected to this case somehow. In light of this, the defense calls Nana to the stand. Well, Your Eminence. Very well, then. Let us call Nana to testify. We'll finally crack this case wide open. Let's adjourn while the witness is summoned. There is no need. Nana is in the waiting lobby. What? Nana's here? I thought she'd gone missing. seems she was feeling unwell and simply wished to rest undisturbed, but a concern for Rafa brought her here today. She took time off without Rafa's knowledge or consent? I'm betting there's more to her than a disappearing act that meets the eye, Apollo. I understand you've been summoned here today. Oh yeah, the hair color's even the same. Yes, of course. Her Eminence has informed me that this man here suspects I have committed a crime. This is Nena. It's quite the hairdo. Though I will say... I suppose I'm not as old as I had thought. If this horn-headed nincompoop would take me for a criminal... Nincompoop? Isn't that Rafa's favorite Guess Nina rubbed off on her, what with all the time they spend together. So that's where she gets all of those... Okay. You there, young hornhead. Yes? You're accusing me of slaying Minister Inga and channeling his spirit, yes? What an active imagination you have. Young folk are so wonderfully open-minded. Thanks. Just take the compliment, Justice. Now then, will the witness please proceed with her testimony? This court wishes to know if you did or did not channel Minister Inga in his private quarters. Where's this gonna go? I was feeling under the weather yesterday and decided to rest these weary bones. Besides which, a lowly servant such as I could not possibly be an honorable spirit medium. Only members of the royal family can learn the art of spirit channeling in Khura'in. After Queen Amara's passing, Her Eminence, Queen Garan, is the only spirit medium left. Wait a minute. She's dead. Or wait, no, she's not dead. She's... Right, she's not dead. She's hidden away somewhere. But what if she escaped? If you believe a medium to be the culprit, it would have to be that young lass, Maya Fey. And there you have it. It seems we have summoned her for nothing. Only those of the royal bloodline have the power of spirit channeling. The servants, such as Nena, could channel spirits as a most unamusing jest. On the surface, anyway. Our line of reasoning has led us to this end, that Nena channeled the Inga spirit. Alright, the defense may now question the witness.
Hold it!
All these dogs stole your hat when you were in the courtyard yesterday afternoon. Was it after that you decided to take a rest? I had been feeling unwell all day, and had pushed myself too hard. Kept feeling weak and dizzy, and that dirty mongrel only served to worsen my condition. Well, I sympathize with you, Nena. You took the whole day off without informing Princess Rafa. She was very worried about you, you know. How very kind of her benevolence. But she need not concern herself with the welfare of a mere servant such as I. Except to Rafa, Nena's not just a mere servant. To even think a mere commoner could channel spirits or slay a minister. What hogwash. Besides which, a lowly servant such as I could not possibly be an honorable spirit medium.
Hold it!
I hear you are the head servant, isn't that right? Are you suggesting that my position affords me the ability to channel spirits? Since you're the head servant to a family of channelers, I'd say it's plausible. If you wanted to, it's not impossible for you to learn through exposure. I think not. But that goes against the very underpinnings of the kingdom of Khura'in. To become a spirit medium requires a noble spirit and rigorous training. Most importantly, one must be a direct descendant of the founder. Not simply some hobby one can take up in the manner of knitting or gardening. So commoners could never become a medium no matter how hard they tried. That is common knowledge to all who are born and raised here, young hornhead. And members of the royal family.
Hold it!
Okay then, what if you actually have royal blood in your veins, Nana? Like a distant relative or something? I'm from a line of humble fishermen, all the way back to my grandfather's grandfather. I've never heard talk of royal blood or noble ancestry. Apollo, spirit channeling is a secret art passed down from mother to daughter. And even with a royal ancestry, it'd be impossible to learn without the right training. Just as the barbed one says, it also must be mentioned that this secret art is only taught here in the kingdom of Khura'in, in your country's Khura'in village. Why aren't things falling into place like I expected? I'd ask the witness to continue her testimony. After Queen Amara's passing, Her Eminence, Queen Garan, is the only spirit medium left.
Hold it!
Amara was the victim of an assassination, right? Yes. Oh, she was a beautiful, gentle... But she fell in love with a man of dubious origins. He was murdered in a terrible blaze. Fate can be so cruel. Except she's actually still alive. Poor Nana's yet another follower unwittingly praying over an empty sarcophagus. Amara, the queen who's been locked away and her existence in this world erased. The fact that she's still alive shackles Nayuta to Garan's will. Nayuta, the only reason you're still standing by that woman's side is because you're afraid of what would happen to Amara otherwise, right? Need not recount such ancient history. Let us continue with the witness's testimony. Miss Faye was being held hostage. She was completely tied up and didn't even know Minister Inga's true name, making it impossible for her to kill or channel him. I know nothing of that.
Objection!
Listen, you horned devil. You're not just insisting that it was Maya Faye who channeled Minister Inga. My, how quickly you change your tune. No, I'm just quick on my feet when new information presents itself. I'm also quick to force my biggest smile when times like these demand it. It's great that you're following my advice, Apollo, but try not to look so forced while you do, would you? Nana is right about one thing, though. Only those with royal bloodline can be spirit mediums in Khura'in. Common folk like us are out of luck. Yeah, I guess so. Still. I think I'll finally be close to connecting all the dots once I point one very big thing out. Well, looks like it's time to drop that bomb.
Objection!
Okay, so I presented what makes sense in terms of direct contradiction. Except I don't know how to make it make sense in the larger context of this case. Well, is the defense going to follow up its loud objection with a sound explanation? Oh, sorry. How do I put this? I believe there's a problem with Nana's testimony. Go on. She asserted that she could not possibly be a spirit medium because, in Khura'in, only members of the royal family can learn how to channel spirits. I fail to see the problem in that statement, defense. Hold on, I'm getting to it, Your Majesty. Nana stated an absolute falsehood, since we know that Amara is still alive. At the same time, circumstantial evidence points to Nana channeling Inga. After all, just after she entered his private quarters, Inga came running out screaming despite having been killed at 2 p.m. That would mean that Nena channeled Inga. Even though supposedly only those of the royal family are... He's putting it together! He's putting it together! Wait. Is it too late to ask for a refund on my trip down the rabbit hole? Mr. Wright, you may think I've lost my mind with this bluff, but... What? If I can at least establish the possibility, I think it'll give us the break we need. Wait a sec. Are you going to propose what I think you are? Yes, it's a huge risk, but I think there's a chance I can prove it. Will the court please take a look at this photo? That's... This photo's very existence, to say nothing of the person in it, contradicts the witness's claim that Queen Garan is the only remaining spirit medium in Khura'in. Horned devil, you mustn't! Oh, but I must. Under these circumstances, the outcome of this trial depends on it. But you already knew that, didn't you, Your Eminence? Will the defense please explain who was shown in the photograph? The person in the photo is the previous queen, Amara Sigatar Khura'in. Contrary to popular belief, she was never assassinated. In fact, she's very much alive. What? But that's nonsense. Take a good look at the law book in this photo, Your Majesty. The mark of the dragon branded on it could only have been placed there after Queen Amara's supposed assassination. Amara's still alive? Has the lawyer gone mad? While I personally find it hard to believe, I will allow the defense to continue. You may proceed, defense. Queen Amara's death was staged to keep her safe from her would-be killer. Yet, according to Dirk, she is actually being held captive somewhere. The real truth is that Queen Amara is not being held in confinement. Rather, she walks freely among us. Here, in this very courtroom today. Do not be deceived, Your Majesty. The Red Pepper is skilled in weaving plausible lies. It is the cunning lawyerly art known as bluffing. But knowing this, there is no need to fear his forked tongue. That's where you're wrong, prosecutor, because you'll be quaking in your boots soon enough. Is that so? It's my turn, Nayuta, to wake you up to the truth right before your eyes. Queen Amara is still very much alive and has been disguising herself as...
Take that!
But that's... Eek. This is the simplest and cleanest explanation for everything we've covered so far. The person who killed Minister Inga, someone with intimate knowledge of the divination seance, the medium who channeled the minister in order to mask the real time of his death, condense these traits into one person and you get a spirit medium of royal blood. And that person is none other than you, Nena. Your true identity is the former Queen Amara and the killer we've been looking for all along. What?
Objection!
Have you finally lost your mind, Mr. Justice? What you say is beyond blasphemous, even in the depths of hell. My, such frightening allegations. Indeed, and absolutely ludicrous to boot. Her Eminence Queen Amara yet lives, and is actually Ms. Nena here? You have truly gone off the deep end. You don't have to take my word for it. In fact, a certain someone can help me prove it. Your Eminence, if Queen Amara truly is dead, you should be able to channel her spirit right here, right now. Isn't that correct? I can deny it no longer. The lawyer speaks the truth. Nena, the woman who stands here before us, is Amara, the former queen believed to have perished 23 years ago. Oh. Oh, God. We finally got Inga's real killer on the stand. Nena, no, Amara Sigatar Khura'in. Please drop the act and tell us what really happened. Oh, dearie me, I guess I shouldn't have underestimated the power of youth. Well done, young hornhead. Whoa. I was getting tired of masquerading as an old woman anyway. It's been far too long since I last greeted you, good people of Khura'in. It is I, Amara Sigatar Khura'in, your former queen. Dang, she get that arm rotation down solid. Amara. Yeah, he's about to have a mental breakdown. I thought Garon's makeover was extreme. It may be true. You are alive and well. It is true. I feel as if I have been called back from the Twilight Realm. I fear I've caused all of you a great deal of distress. Amara, I'm sorry I was unable to keep your secret any longer. I hope you can forgive me. It is quite all right, Garon. I am safe now. For Dirk, that blackguard who threatened my life, will be recaptured soon enough. I need not conceal my identity any longer. Queen Amara, what does this all mean? Were you not killed in that fire 23 years ago? I'd barely escaped that blaze with my life. But though I survived, I knew that scoundrel would make further attempts on my life. Therefore, I staged my death and abdicated the throne to my dear younger sister, Garon. The building of that great tomb, and disguising yourself as a lowly servant, why would you do such a thing? Garon, I would have you explain. I wished for her to be close at hand. It was the only way I felt I could protect her. And it was the best way to hide her from the eyes of the public. After all, who could conceive of Amara lowering her station to that of a servant? She's got that right. Even Dirk thought Amara was being held captive in some far-off place. He never even guessed she was living as a servant, right, in plain sight. I must say, a life dedicated to the servitude of others is not the least bit disagreeable. It is a quiet, humble existence, far removed from the tedium of regal duties. But those days of peace have ended. It's all because of you, Hornhead. You should consider yourself lucky if that's all this ends with. If there is something you wish to say, then say it. It doesn't matter who you are, you won't escape the crime you committed. The defense moves to indict you as Justice Minister Inga's real killer. What's this? You accuse Queen Amara of homicide? Grand Priestess of Khura'Inism? You can't do that. She's virtually a goddess in the eyes of her people. If you commit the crime, you'd better be ready to do the time. Be you a priest, saint, queen, or god. I've never met such an egalitarian person. Queen Amara, In your years disguised as Naya, you would have learned about Minister Inga's disorder, so you knew you could dress in Dirk's clothes to forge a convincing seance vision. Isn't that right? Oh, what a curious character you are. You would label me a murderer? Me, the one who the people regarded as the reincarnation of the Holy Mother herself? Maybe a grand figure in Khura'Inism, but as a foreigner, you're just another suspect to me. It appear your words are not in jest. Am I to suffer the sullying of my good name with accusations of murder most foul? But please, Queen Amara, forgive his impudence. The lawyer knows not what he speaks. Fear not, good Majesty, for this is the sacred hall of justice. Though I am a grand priestess, on this stand I am but a witness like any other. I shall face his accusations with grace and benevolence. Compassion overfloweth your mercifulness. Oh, young lawyer, my benevolence, I must warn you that your assertion suffers from a tragic flaw. Huh? There's a flaw? Nayuta. Yes, your mercifulness? Who was present in the tomb when the murder was discovered? Dirk Satmati, Maya Fey, and the victim, Minister Inga. I see. That is a fatal flaw indeed. It appears Queen Amara couldn't possibly have gone to the tomb as Minister Inga. What? Why not? Do not keep the defense waiting, Nayuta. Explain how wrong he truly is. Yes, your mercifulness. Her benevolence, Princess Rafa saw Minister Inga enter the tomb around 2:30 p.m. Yet you, the defense, claim the person she saw was the minister being channeled by Queen Amara. However, if her mercifulness had channeled him and moved to the tomb, then, once she was done channeling, Queen Amara would have re-emerged and been left stuck in the tomb. Oh, yeah. Oh. Wait. Oh, yeah. She tried to... Okay, never mind. For a second, I thought, like, well, maybe Dirk's actually, maybe Dirk's actually also dead, and she channeled him. But then that's not possible because she couldn't have been channeling him like before today, because she was here and Dirk has been running around. She was only. I thought maybe because of the fact that she reappeared when he disappeared, but that wouldn't have worked because she hasn't been disappeared other than just before today. Never mind. Yeah. Since Rafa had been looking down upon the courtyard who had seen her. However, Benevolence saw nothing of the sort. In conclusion, Queen Amara could not have left the tomb without being observed. And yet, was she there in the tomb when the murder was discovered? Defense? No, she wasn't. Now do you see? The flimsy claim has been uprooted like a sapling in a flood. Well, that was entertaining, Prosecutor Sadmati. Assume the prosecution of this case and clear your mother's good name. You wish for me to take over? Yes, prosecute your father to save your mother. What a poignant fate you bear, but bear it you must. Are you ready? Yes, Your Eminence. And there you have it, Your Majesty. I shall watch the rest of the proceedings from the sidelines. I relinquish complete control of this sacred hall to your authority once more. Why, thank you, Your Eminence. Now then, your mercifulness, your testimony, if you please. There's something... Still missing something. It's weird how many times it's been like, oh, we just need one more piece of the puzzle, and then we still need one more piece of the puzzle. I should just try to have Barbara's theory. I was not anywhere near the tomb following the murder. Were your theory correct, I would have been in the tomb once I had stopped channeling. My husband Dirk is the killer, but he has fled from the sacred... Yeah. Yeah. Convenient that he disappeared right as you reappeared. How does this work? The Holy Mother rained judgment upon the traitor Dirk Sletmati for his crimes. This marvelous testimony. You truly are a treasure, your mercifulness. This, too, is but by the grace of her holiness. No doubt my unmasking here today was her will as well. Why? The Holy Mother, you say? Yes, surely her holiness has guided me to this witness stand. And to the purity of... Wow. Just straight up Disney princess this. Complete... Look at that tiger. He's so happy. Oh my god. This is hilarious. How magnificent. Queen Amara, the Holy Mother's messenger here on Earth. Animals even show up in the background shot. Where does animals even come from? Now then, the defense may question the witness. Remember, she is a grand priestess, so disrespect will not be tolerated. That means no pointing out conflicts, inconsistencies, or any other flaws in her testimony. I mean... Oh, they're just gonna stay there, huh?
Hold it!
My theory is utterly absurd, barbarous, and high-handed, if I may say so. Nayuta was right to call you putrid-minded. Surely even the monkeys of Mount Pony-Pony's holy waterfalls could devise a better theory. Surely you can steal better insults than Nayuta's best. Now then, to all of you gathered in the sacred hall, need I remind you... We're near the tomb.
Hold it!
Well, maybe you were hiding inside the sarcophagus. I mean, that is also possible. After all, it does technically belong to you. I bet you have no trouble opening it. And she has been gone for a day. That could be. If I had been in there, I could not be here today. The tomb has been under constant surveillance since the murder. I've never been able to leave. I guess not. If I might ask, what's in that sarcophagus? You know, I was just wondering that. You're still alive, so... There's despair, sadness, hatred, and malice. Only one brave enough to see the truth hidden deep within. To discover the final hope, my continued corporeality. You completely lost me. Now I'm starting to think there is something in that sarcophagus that we need to know about. In other words, it's empty. Is it? No one dared to open it because they were too scared of the curse. That's still the one place that hasn't been looked at in this entire tomb. And I'm starting to wonder if there's something in... What could be in there, though? Like... Wait. Wait. Did she kill 2 people? What if Dirk's in there? And then... Okay. So she kills Inga, channels him, goes in there, kills Dirk, puts his body in the sarcophagus, channels him, and walks out. And now that he's escaped, she can just go back to being herself. Dispense with your theory. It is as empty as my... Okay, the fact that they've mentioned this multiple times now is making me think this might actually be what happened. If your theory correct, I would have been in the tomb once...
Hold it!
Somebody else in the tomb! But you weren't in the tomb after the... You weren't in the tomb! It's your theory. And if I had channeled Minister Inga and entered the tomb, the moment I ceased channeling him, I would have reemerged at the crime scene. Unless you were Dirk. And that's why he said he was... That's why he said he was gonna die soon. Because he's already dead. You said your self-defense. Queen Amara was not there after the murder. The only living souls in the tomb at that time were the only living souls. Oh my god. Either in this life or the next. There's no escaping such simple truths. Well, there's gotta be some escaping it or this game is gonna be over.
Hold it!
There must be a reason why he had to make his escape. So wait, is he in on it then? Is this like with the High Priest, where he's just like, yeah, this is the only way we get out of this. But then he had to have known that, like, this was not going to end well if he was in on it. Because if he successfully pulls this off, like, a lot of people he cares about are going to die, and a lot of things that he wanted to happen are not going to happen. What's the reason why he had to make his escape today? A reason? Perhaps what? Perhaps to conceal himself and lie in wait for another chance to claim my life. What's this?
Objection!
No, it's definitely not like that, your mercifulness. First of all, you don't really believe he's trying to kill you, do you? After all, you two ran off together after he rescued you all those years. Yeah, there's also that. That was only because he had the audacity to claim, it wasn't me, you must believe me. My duty as a wife to her husband. To bend an ear to him, was it not? Communication after disagreement is the secret to a long and happy marriage. Sure, I guess. What do you think, Mr. Wright? Don't ask me. That's why I listened to Dirk. However, he didn't have a shred of evidence to support his claim. It grieves me to admit it, but my husband truly did try to murder me. It's quite enough. It's abundantly clear that Queen Amara's testimony is flawless. Oh, do you understand now, lawyer? This is bad. The judge is going to let me cross-examine her much longer. Amara should have been in the tomb after the minister's murder, but she wasn't. I don't get it. How did she just vanish from the scene of the crime like that? It shouldn't be possible for normal people to... For normal people? Maybe. Maybe what? Your Majesty, I think I can explain why Queen Amara wasn't there in the tomb after the murder. Very well, Defense. Apollo. If what I think happened is what happened, you know what this means, right? I believe it's accomplished through a method only she is capable of, and by using this special method, it would be possible for her to literally disappear. Don't keep us waiting. Let's hear it. She clung to the ceiling. Apollo, you thought this through? All she had to do was channel someone, then she could easily disappear from the scene of the crime. After all, she would literally be someone else. Well, I believe that actually makes sense. What do you have to say to that, Queen Amara? Believe that I, a Grand Priestess, would use the sacred power of spirit channeling to commit murder? Mercy, your mercifulness. How dare you spew such vile blasphemy, Defense? You retract your last statement or face immediate execution. No, good Majesty, it is quite all right. Khura'Injustice also teaches that we must respond at all times with reason and principle. Therefore, I shall offer a measured response to his blasphemous accusation. You have something to counter with? Indeed. Now, are you listening? It would not have been possible to simply vanish by means of spirit channeling. After all, it would require a deceased person to channel. Yeah. However, there was only one murder victim in the tomb. And that was Minister Inga. The only others right there after his murder were Dirk and Miss Faye. I channeled Inga as you allege. Well, the outcome would have been quite odd to say the least. There beside the dead minister, a living, breathing one would have appeared. Even if I had been in the tomb, there was no one to channel except the deceased minister. So you see, I could not have vanished by means of spirit channeling. That's true, but I can't rule it out yet. Because, well, what if there was another victim? Someone we haven't identified yet. How absurd. You channeled someone other than Minister Inga. You could have used their identity to disappear from the tomb. Man, he's taking this rather well. Another victim? Queen Amara. Please add your last statement to your testimony. This can explain everything. Wasn't there some sign of another victim there in the tomb? And yet, why do I sense I'm not going to like what I'm about to find? Apollo! Buddy! Buddy! How have you not... It's right there. Holy shit, it's right there. That's exactly what happened. Oh, man. I'm gonna press it just to see if he says anything else. But there was another victim besides Minister Inga. What on earth could you mean? The only body found in the tomb was the minister's. Yeah, but, Mara's counter-arguments are too spot-on for us to rebut. Actually, there is one possibility. What's the matter, Apollo? That's one heck of a face you're making. Oh, no, it's nothing, really. And yet, that means... Yeah...
Objection!
I can't believe I'm presenting this, but it proves that there was another victim. Still, the only ones there at the scene of the crime were... No, it can't be. The defense care to share something with us? Queen Amara, you knew, didn't you? What were you talking about? If you won't tell this court, then I will. Well, don't keep us waiting. This case includes a second victim. One of the two people found alive in the tomb after the minister's murder was actually already dead. But a second victim, Apollo? Queen Amara, after you channeled Minister Inga and moved to the tomb, you vanished from the scene of the crime by channeling the other victim. That explains why no one found you after the murder was discovered. Oh, you putrid pepper, of all the half-witted buffoonery to come tumbling from your lips. I suppose I indulge you and play along with your little delusion. Tell me, Mr. Justice, who was the other victim? There's no way this can be true. But no, I can't stop now. This is the truth. It's the only way forward to solving this case. The other victim the Queen Amara channeled was... oh boy. You managed to prove me innocent tomorrow. I don't have long to live. There's no escaping death now that it has its sights set on me. Dirk knew everything, but he couldn't bring himself to tell me. One more big secret. I'm afraid I can't tell you what it is. I'd be betraying a certain someone if I did. He couldn't accuse the love of his life. The sad truth is, the other victim channeled by Amara was...
Take that!
You can't. That's not possible. The defendant, Dirk Sadmati, is the one Queen Amara channeled. He's the other victim. This is insanity. Kunka! Apollo, what are you? Do you realize what you're proposing?
Objection!
I demand an explanation, Mr. Justice. I don't know when or why Dirk was murdered. The facts and evidence speak for themselves. And this is where they've led me. I see. After Inga's murder, Dirk and Maya were the only ones in the tomb. But if one of them was actually dead and being channeled by Amara, it can't be, can it? Dirk's bloodstain at the scene of the crime was the clincher for me. He wasn't even injured, so how could he have possibly bled that much? The only logical explanation is Dirk had also been murdered.
Objection!
That's enough. Your explanation cannot be the truth, and you would not dare to claim to have proof to support your assertion. It's actually really easy. Just gotta open up that sarcophagus. Now, Yuta, I wish it weren't true. I wish with all my heart that I'm wrong. But as much as I don't want to believe it, yes, I can prove it. Dirk's killer must have hidden his body. It would have to be somewhere nobody would ever look. There's only one such place. You truly have proof? The fastest way would be to actually have someone go check the tomb. Go check the tomb? But why? Because I believe Dirk's killer had his body here.
Take that!
Right for the center. Queen Amara's sarcophagus, the only place in the tomb that no one dared to look. Plus, the killer would soon become trapped by hiding in there. But a body? Well, that's a horse of a different color. Which means... I believe we must search the sarcophagus at once. Your Eminence, being that Queen Amara yet lives, I trust we may now open it. If we must. Your Majesty, I believe Detective Skye is still there at the tomb. Let us contact her at once and have her conduct a full investigation into the matter. Now then, Detective Skye, your report if you please. I'll start with my findings. Please let me be wrong about this. I just want things to be as they were. Search of the sarcophagus revealed a body that appears to be several days old. Several days old. Body? Detective Sky, tell me it wasn't Dirk. Tell me my whole theory was completely off base. I have a photo of the body, and I have positively identified it as Dirk Sudmati. Well, this has been a pretty good stream. Unfortunately, it is a weeknight, and as terrible as it will be to end this on another crazy twist, although I think we figured this one out a little bit in advance, but it sucks. But we're gonna have to call it here because I'll try to get a stream tomorrow night because I definitely want to see how this turns out. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wrap things up because I do have to get going. That is indeed a cruel truth. Well, hope you all have enjoyed this. It's been a real good one. Although a real terrible one too, for especially for Apollo. Poor guy. Alright, well, hope you all have been enjoying it, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. If not, then soon. Have a good evening.